Best Marriage Podcast. I'm your host, Whitney Shayo.
And I'm your host, Pesa Shayo. I'm Whitney Shayo's husband.
And this is the place where we believe that every single marriage has a chance.
Yes, every single marriage has a chance to be awesome and also to be fulfilling.
And you guys can always find us on Twitter. I'm at Whitney Shayo.
And I'm at Pesa Shayo.
You can also like us on Facebook.
It's Facebook.com/Live Your Best Marriage.
And of course, you can go to the place where it all started, liveyourbestmarriage.com/blog.
Cool. So, Whitney, what are we talking about today?
So today, I wanted us to share 3 absolute musts for stay-at-home parents.
Wow. Why 3?
Yeah. Well, there are 3 things that I learned to do, but basically I learned it the hard way. Mm-hmm. And about 2 years ago, I wrote a blog post called 3 Absolute Musts for Stay-at-Home Moms. But now that you have become a stay-at-home dad as well, now I'm realizing that stay-at-home dads definitely should not be left out either.
Yes, they should not be. So is that what qualifies you to give advice on stay-at-home?
Oh, stay-at-home dads. No, you'll be helping me out with that part. No. What happens is the stay-at-home role is very demanding. It takes a lot of energy.
Yes.
And it's a lot of work from morning until night, and sometimes even throughout the night.
I thought stay at home means you're just chilling, watching TV, and not doing anything.
That really messed me up for a long time, but I'll get into that later. That misconception used to really hurt me a lot.
How is that?
So especially if even you know what, even if a mom is not staying at home, let me also just be clear that breastfeeding and pumping, it puts a lot of demands on one person. So even if mom is not staying at home and she's working, if she's pumping and nursing the baby, that is extremely stressful. And yes. That is a lot of work that she's doing.
Oh, yes.
So I just want to acknowledge that, because on top of taking care of the baby during the night and household things, she also has to get up in the morning and go to work. So this is not to ignore that.
No, it's not.
No. But what I just wanted to share with you guys some of the lessons that I learned. I've been staying at home since 2006 when we had our first baby.
Wow.
So over 10 years now. And I had some really rocky times, some ups and downs.
Wow. I thought staying at home was just a bliss.
But I can definitely say that I have way more good times than bad times, but I had a lot of really high highs and a lot of extremely low lows.
Whoa.
So it's intense.
So what are some of the high highs?
So the highest highs that I've had are just those really awesome days when I'm still overwhelmed. I think that still is always like an underlying thing that goes on. It's a continual thing.
Yeah.
But it's those days when I feel relaxed for the most part, and I'm just enjoying the kids. We're just having a good time laughing, and I know, and I'm just cherishing those funny little things that they do, and things like that. The lowest lows, though, that's something that I wanted to go over today.
Okay. What are they?
I started having symptoms. So this happened after we had our 3rd baby.
Yes.
I noticed that my heart rate was like way up. Like it almost felt like I was having chest pain. So at first it totally freaked me out. I didn't know what was going on. I thought I was having like heart issues. And then so I went to the doctor, and they tested everything, and she's like, no, your heart is totally fine. It kind of sounds like you're just really tired. And so I was like, okay, like tired from what, you know? And she's like, well, what happens is when you have a lack of sleep and you're just constantly every minute of the day trying to keep track of all of your kids, you're you might have low serotonin,
Okay.
which I don't know. I don't really like totally understand it, but the way she described it is something in the brain. Like if you don't have enough of it, it can lead to depression. And she was also describing how in the winter months you can have low vitamin D.
Okay.
And it just like she thought it was just making me worry more.
Okay.
So this she's like, you know, I think we should just start you on medication. But I just didn't really think that was something that I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you know what? I think I can take care of this just on my own.
Yes.
Like, but basically, there was a lot of emotional pain that I went through, but I was able to eventually beat it.
And how did you beat it?
So I had to find ways to stay busy. And this is definitely not, I'm not giving a recommendation for anyone else. I'm just sharing like what happened to me so that hopefully it can inspire someone to just know that they are deserving of success and they are good enough, because one of the biggest problems that I suffered from was thinking that I had not achieved enough in life. So that was also something that was like weighing me down. Like just like I would just constantly like think the whole day about my shortcomings and my mistakes that I had made, or like regrets that I had, and feeling like, you know, I have all these kids and I haven't accomplished anything. And which was really ridiculous because I was raised in a suburban town where our teachers and our guidance counselors and pretty much people in my family too, they basically like the message to us was like, okay, if you don't achieve what we tell you to achieve, then you're just not good enough.
Oh.
Yeah. And so and then like every little comment that like someone else in the family would make, like someone who didn't have kids, if they would just talk about like how all the awesome things that they get to do, all the trips they take, it would just remind me of like, well, maybe being a stay-at-home mom wasn't the best decision. And so then I found this really awesome book. It's a biography about Lily Pulitzer. And if you've never heard of Lily Pulitzer, she came up with a famous design for dresses, like a shift dress. This was back in the 60s.
Yes.
But basically, she started her own fashion line. And what happened was she had postpartum depression.
She did?
Yeah, after her third baby. And so her doctor just told her, well, all you need to do is just stay busy.
Okay.
So basically, that's what she did. She started this fashion line. And I'm assuming, like, the way the story went, she was able to beat postpartum depression. She was able to lift her spirits and feel better again. And so I'll give you some of the things that I've tried and have really, really, really helped me a lot.
As a stay-at-home mom?
As a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
And the first one was I found a hobby that I really love doing for myself, and it was Zumba.
Oh, okay.
So basically, you need time to yourself, because if you can't take care of yourself, then how do you expect to be able to take care of everyone in your household?
You're right. Yeah. You're right, yes.
So I would go and do Zumba at the Y. And it was just a lot of fun. It was something that helped me relax and take my mind off of the long to-do list that I had at home, and just it really just made me feel like I had this cool thing that I could go and do for myself. And also I don't have a background in dance. So that was like an extra fun thing for me to be able to kind of learn a little bit more about dance.
Yes.
And so that I can say was a huge, huge, huge help for me.
Yes.
Just, yeah, having an activity that I could go to.
And you also took a class to be a Zumba instructor.
Yeah, I ended up going to get the certification. I liked it so much. I don't actually teach a Zumba class, but that's just how much I really loved it. I mean, I wanted to just be more involved with it, and it's enjoyable for me. And even up to this day, I still listen to a lot of the Spanish music and stuff that they play in Zumba. I'm a huge, huge fan. Pesa is not, by the way. Not a fan. But I am. I love it. It just like takes my stress down. It really does.
And it just takes my stress up.
Yeah. He thinks I'm gonna run away with one of the
Zumba instructors.
One of the musicians. So, which is totally not happening. But also just going back to that issue of feeling like, okay, well, I haven't achieved enough, which was totally ridiculous, because if you can take care of kids, if you can have kids and take care of them and run your household, I mean, what more accomplishment are you looking for?
Yeah.
Don't let someone tell you that that's not good enough.
Yes.
Honestly. Right. I mean, that was like, now that I look back, I'm shocked that I actually allowed people around me to think that I wasn't doing enough.
Do you think that looking back, that also you are glad that you went through that, or you regret going through that hard time? That did it make you stronger and appreciate what you have now, or you were like, if you had to do it again, you wouldn't go through it?
Yeah, I feel like I'm a lot tougher now. And I've also made other attitude changes since that time. Yeah. And I've also learned a lot of extra things, like just how important it is to be happy in the now, and things like that. And so another thing that I did was, as part of going to the gym, this was happening like kind of in the summer months. And I started taking my kids to the water park. It was just something that was included in our YMCA membership. It was nothing fancy. It was just taking them to the outdoor pool. But we had access to it pretty much 7 days a week. So I would take them like two or three times a week. And what that did, in a weird way, sort of, is like it took away that wish of, how come we never go for a nice vacation on the beach? Okay. And I don't know how to describe what this did for me. Like, I don't know how it works, but if you're happy in the now, you just become okay with taking your kids to your local swimming pool. You're not like sitting there thinking, why don't we ever go to a nice resort on an island? I don't know if that makes sense, because that was also something that used to bug me. I used to like be like, okay, well, if I could only take a nice trip and relax and get away from all this chaos, then I would feel better. Then I would be happy.
But you had taken several trips.
We had taken, like, would go
even to Kenya.
We would go for vacations, but nothing was ever enough. Like, when you're not happy in the now, nothing is ever enough for you.
Because you flew overseas and everything.
Yeah, we went. Yeah, we did. We took some nice family vacations, but on like those day-to-day, like getting through the daily activities.
Okay.
Like knowing that you're going to wake up really super early in the morning to a bunch of crying and tantrums and cooking, cleaning, basically doing almost everything except for providing. My husband was our amazing provider. But I couldn't see that. I wasn't like thankful. So gratitude is also another huge thing. Okay. But we'll get to that later. So basically, like, I would wake up in the morning thinking, okay, great, I get to do everything. And then I get to go to bed really, really late at night and then wake up during the night to feed the baby and also deal with our 3-year-old who was having like terrible threes. She would wake up in the night and start throwing a tantrum about like whatever random thing she wanted. And so like the typical 1 or 2 vacations a year did not help that.
Yeah.
But just feeling like more at ease, like, okay, you know what? We'll get to go and do a fun activity today. We will go to the pool today. We'll do this. And that's going to at least take some time out of our schedule from like, it's going to take time to drive there and take time to actually play in the pool, which is not like, I don't feel like I'm just constantly giving care. I'm not constantly nonstop cleaning up a mess or cooking or something.
Yes.
And so another thing that I did was my husband was already a member of Toastmasters. And for those of you who have never heard of it, it's a nonprofit organization where they teach people how to do public speaking and they teach leadership. So Pesa was already a member, and he's like, well, why don't you just come with me, and then we'll make a date night out of it. We'll go to dinner afterwards. And so I started going, and you would not believe how much that helped my self-esteem go up.
Yeah.
Like, because they were so supportive. I would give a speech, and then you have someone evaluate you, but they're all so positive, and they would encourage me. And so I felt like not only I was achieving something, but also they just made me feel like I was actually doing something worthwhile. So I know you shouldn't let other people like control your feelings that much, but it was something that really, 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 really helped me get out of that horrible phase that I was in.
I mean, if it worked, it worked.
It worked, and we're still members. We're actually more involved now.
Oh yeah.
We've taken leadership positions and everything. So, and it has helped us so much to the point where now we give presentations regularly for different organizations and things like that. And now, hey, look, we're even
doing a podcast.
We're even doing a podcast too. So it's just getting more confidence and just learning those valuable skills that really, really, really helped me stay busy and stay productive. So that was a big deal.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like a very tough journey.
Yeah, actually, I didn't even cover that. I didn't cover very many details, but yeah, it's just, to say the least, it was extremely hard, and I don't ever want to go back to that. And so, but if anyone is feeling overwhelmed like that, I just want to encourage you that there are things you can do about it. I don't have any specific advice for you, but because not everybody's situation is exactly the same.
No.
But honestly, there is hope. Things can get better.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say.
So things can get better when it comes to postpartum depression and.
Well, they might. Yeah. Even if you're not having full blown postpartum depression like I was, even if you're just feeling like you're in a rut, if you're you feel like, okay, I'm at home the whole day and every task I do is so repetitive, so redundant, like there's not much difference between yesterday and today, and tomorrow is not going to be that much different either. Even if you're feeling like that, there are things you can do to change that.
Oh, okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
I know that.
So what are the things you can do to change that?
Well, just finding an activity that you enjoy is huge, but also, you could start a blog.
Okay.
You could write all of just all the issues that you feel like you're going through, and you could share tips with other moms as well. That's something that can help.
But does that just do the same thing? You'll be doing the same thing over and over and over.
Anything that can add some pizzazz.
Guys,
some
it's a guy
excitement.
talking here, so
Yeah. So, and now that you're a stay-at-home dad, can you tell us what has changed since you quit working at a job? How is your life different? I've noticed you seem to enjoy the kids a lot more.
yes, I enjoy the kids a lot more. Not that I wasn't enjoying them, but
You're able to.
I'm able to, and it has been a long and really emotional transition because there was that feeling like, okay, now this is my first day after not quote unquote going to work. Now I have to, because before I was running a business on the side and going to a job. And this was going on for several years. So until I got the confidence to say, okay, that was my last day and I left. That's another story. After that happened, now I was just doing the business, just not going to a job. And I had an office downtown where I could quote unquote go and work from. So in a way, it was not a lot of different because I was still had an office and I could go to work from there. But there were some days where I would be at home in the morning and maybe take the kids for a walk, and I would feel there was a feeling that I would feel like, oh my God, I am self-employed. I am. I don't have a job. Like I run my own stuff right now, and some people have called it postpartum depression for men.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Tim Ferriss calls it that.
And you also mentioned that on some of those walks,
Yes.
you felt like other men who were driving to work
Yeah.
were probably thinking, "Oh, he's not doing anything."
Yes.
Yeah.
So I had this feeling like, oh my God, these guys are going to work and I'm at home not having a quote unquote job.
Yeah.
And I never knew how much my identity was wrapped up around me having a job. I mean, I never understood how much my identity was wrapped up around a job until I wasn't going to a job. And so, anyways, that brought a lot of anxiety and a lot of just feeling some sort of insecurity because I would go look at everybody's driveway and it seems like everybody has left for the day, all my neighbors, and I'm the only guy on the like just it feels like I was the only guy in my neighborhood who wasn't gone for quote unquote to go for a work to job. So yes, I'll drive and I go to the office, but eventually like 6 or 7 months later from the day I quit,
Yeah, you quit going to the office.
so I quit going to the office and I actually created an office in the basement here and
We just started working from home.
started working from home. Again, at first, the concept of working from home, like not going anywhere, was a little bit too hard, but I'm glad I did it.
Because weren't you also a little bit worried that you wouldn't be able to take a phone call without the kids yelling and
Yes.
crying?
But guess what? I do most of my work online anyway, so there's not a lot of calls, and most of the calls are if I need to take a call, I can just tell the kids to keep it down before I make a call. They are pretty good in respecting the fact that I am at work, and actually most of the time it's me just coming into the office and start working. Now everything we're also homeschooling, so there's that concept of time management, and after several months now we've been able to have a nice schedule where we can homeschool and we can also I can also me and my wife can also work later on during the day, and it feels like if you're able to do things consistently, that's huge. That's a huge lesson that I've learned. Consistently and trying to simplify your life, because there's a lot of things that I was doing which were not leading me to what are my goals, but there were things I needed to do because I felt like I had to. So we found out that actually stripping out a lot of the extra stuff from your day, you can actually get to achieve what you really want to achieve, not things that you think you have to do just because you have extra time or because you're just not focused on your goals.
Right, right. Yeah, if you can narrow your focus on a few things instead of feeling like you have to do everything,
Yeah.
that really helps. You'll actually be able to get a lot more done. So yeah, I think this whole issue really comes from the combination of exhaustion and boredom.
I,
I know that was really the cause of my issues.
I think I'm finding out like most of the problems are caused by boredom. And you're bored with your life, and that's why somebody's just always, especially me, looking for the next shiny thing, because you feel like there's nothing in your life to get you excited.
Yeah, and another thing that I wanted to remind everybody too is the grass really is not always greener on the other side. I mean, it looks like other people's lives are exciting and looks like they have it a lot better than we do, but it is totally okay to be who you are and do what you do.
Yeah.
And I mean, really, in the grand scheme of things, it really does not matter what kind of path someone else took, or if they're trying to tell you that you're not good enough just because of the lifestyle you have. I mean, who wants to talk to someone like that anyway? But that was a huge problem that I suffered from, thinking that I made the wrong choices and I ended up in this mess. But you know, if you're feeling discouraged like that, I mean, again, I mean, I don't have any like specific advice on how to handle it, but I can offer you encouragement. And if you want to know more about the serotonin thing, I mean, ask your doctor for sure. I mean, I'm glad I did. I'm glad I asked questions, because at least now I kind of at least know a little bit more about what was going on.
Or you can just go to WebMD.
Just okay, yeah, okay, there you go.
Yeah.
But for sure, you know, don't have regrets like, oh, I'm missing out on life just because I'm at home. I mean, I don't know. That was really painful for me, and I would not wish that on anyone.
And I'm also finding out that yes, the grass is always green on the other side because you are not taking care of your grass.
That's one way of looking at it, but with some people we know, they make their grass look green, but it's really not.
Oh yeah, like keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah. So
Okay.
those are two very different things.
Yeah, but
yeah.
but it's just I'm finding out for myself that if I have time to think about somebody else's grass and just like focus so much on their grass, it's because I feel like I'm not crushing it on my end. So I'm just constantly looking at the other people's yard instead of, because if you are so focused on your own game, if you are so focused on getting your game right, honestly, you have so much invested in your game, you don't want to leave your game, you don't want to go and jump on somebody else's grass. Yeah.
But still, so if you have people in your life like I did who they think they aced the exam because they're the ones who wrote it, you know, don't let that discourage you. You are deserving of success. You do deserve to be happy, and you didn't make a bad choice. Trust me. In the long run, I am so glad I decided to stay at home with my children.
Yeah.
I am so happy.
Can you say that thing again about acing the exam they wrote it?
There are some people, I don't know about everyone else, but there are some relatives, in-laws, friends that I have who they believe with a passion that they aced the exam in life, but they're the one who wrote it.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is they have taken it upon themselves to decide what accomplishment really means, and if you don't live up to that, then they're going to let you know about it. But
yeah,
I'm here to say, don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Yes.
Don't worry about that.
Wow, That's some deep words there, right there. So if there's somebody who's listening to this and they are thinking about becoming a stay-at-home parent, what are the 3 things you can tell them to make their life easier?
3 things. Find an activity that you can enjoy, something that helps you take care of you, and then find something that can keep you busy, but also at the same time you feel like you're achieving something.
Okay.
Something that's meaningful to you, a project, whatever it is. And also being happy in the now.
Being happy in the now.
Yeah, be happy in the now.
Cool.
So.
Okay, folks, you've heard it. That's another episode of the Live Your Best Marriage podcast. And we really enjoyed having this podcast because we were able to express some of our issues too. And also hoping that you guys going to write a comment so that we can also get motivated and at the same time find solution to some of our problems, because sometimes we might not be seeing it from your point of view. So you can always leave us a comment at iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, or SoundCloud. Or you can just go to Facebook.com/Live Your Best Marriage or liveyourbestmarriage.com. So folks, until next time, this is Pesa.
And this is Whitney. Thank you very, very much.
And